Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin the Food Entrepreneur Show. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. For anyone who's out there, you can find us on Instagram at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs. If you want to find us and listen to us, you can find us on Spotify or wherever else you grow yourself through podcasts. And thank you, everyone, for listening in. I won't get into the whole long intro again. Well, I stuttered a little bit there. Sorry, guys. But I'm going to introduce our guest. Thank you for everyone for sharing the episodes. Abdul Raheem from Vegan Kings out of Clark, New Jersey. How are you doing again, Abdul?
I'm doing good. Peace and love to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, I'm tripping over myself today. I must not had enough coffee, but yeah, it's
you
just
had,
one of
you
those
had a
days.
hangover from yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. So.
Yeah, that and I'll embarrass the entrepreneur since he already embarrassed himself and he's been very sorry. But I literally had to record with someone and we had to stop about every 2 to 3 minutes to do cuts because he kept getting interrupted by staff and people asking him questions. He had no idea how important he was until we tried to record a podcast. So I will make fun of him a little bit. It's probably why my mind's so scattered because it took us 2.5 hours to do a 41-minute episode. So that's never happened to me before, but he said I can make fun of him, so I'm going to make fun of him on it. And I won't call him out on it by name, but I will mention it so he knows who he is. So I'm not about shaming people or anything like that, but we did have a good time and we did have a lot of laughs because he laughs. He was like, I sit in my office all day long and no one bothers me, and then I try to record a podcast and everyone's bothering me, and it was literally like 2.5 minutes every second on the dot. So it's like, of course, man, of course. Humility just comes when you least expect it, honestly. So it was humbling for me, for sure. Patience.
You just gotta laugh at it, though.
Yeah, life just throws curveballs sometimes. It's like I have a lot of entrepreneurs who schedule to be on the podcast and then cancel on me last minute. And I'm like, man, it's just hard because I know that I've done it. And so I have to understand them, but you're obviously trying to run a business. And even though this is free and we do everything for free, I do have to spend money on the crew that's here and the podcast itself. So I want to be responsible for sponsors' money and partners' money. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, as a food entrepreneur, you're like, any given moment you could have a fryer down. Any given moment, like the delivery doesn't show up and you're like short staffed and you got to run to like the market and get like tomatoes because they weren't delivered on the U.S. Foods truck. And so, it's just that part of life. And like it takes a lot of patience, kindness, and love to be in the food business. I swear to God, there's no more test of patience than being in the food business, whether you're a delivery driver or you're cooking French fries or you're running a restaurant. All the entrepreneurs in the world, just the amount of patience we have is kind of incredible. At least most of us. I see a lot of people fly off the hinge. I know I have at times. I try not to do that anymore. I really try to turn around some of that, but I get it when life gets stressful or things start going bad. It can be aggravating. So, Abdul, we had a really good conversation before we got on here, and we didn't even talk about your business in the last episode. So what I want to do is I want to talk about your business, and then I want to get back into some of the things we were talking about before we started recording. So let's talk about how did you get into business? How do you promote your business or attract people to it? Like, what exactly do you do, and how'd you find a love for this?
Well, after I closed the restaurant, my wife, she sat down and she said to me, we opened up this bakery, and it was a bakery cafe, and she was like, look, you did it for me because it was my dream. She was like, now it's time for you to do your dream, and I'm going to help you. So I decided to take, what happened to me and turn it into a story and make it into a business because I feel that, I finally realized that my job on this planet was to help the world, to feed the world and to teach the world. So I decided to do it with my art, with food. It took me a very long time to get where I am because even though I was a chef, I feel that I still, was learning and understanding food and understanding plating and understanding what people want to see and how they want to see it. But the experience of having a business, it taught me a lot. It taught me that humans care about one thing and one thing only, their stomach. And if I was able to just, if I'm able to make you see something and make you want it, then I win. And the funny thing about this is that I started selling cheesecakes out my house when I was living in New York, because that was my thing. I was the cheesecake man. I was always hustling. I was always trying to sell something. I sold jewelry. I made my own jewelry. I used to run to Michael's. I always had this gift of learning to do something from nothing and selling it and getting a dollar. And that kind of like made me feel like, wow, if I could do this, I could change the world. You know, um, and that's how it started. And then I said to myself, I love people, no matter who, no matter what. I just love all types of people, and feeding people takes you to another level. I remember when we was in the store, like we ran out of fruit punch, because I used to make fruit punch. Oh, I think it was grape. No, we ran out of grape, but I had a lot of fruit punch left, so I was able to switch it and just mix the colors by putting green and red together to turn purple. So everybody was still coming and buying it. It would sell out. We would sell out like 100 drinks a day, just these purple drinks that I used to make in the hood.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, bro. And I switched it, and people kept coming. I was like, yo, I just tricked everybody, and they didn't even know that this is not even grape. It's actually fruit punch and blueberry. So I was like, wait a minute, with this, yo, I'm like, yo, I could really do this. So then this guy that I knew, he would come in the store, and he was Jamaican, and I love, shout out to my Jamaicans, I love them so much. And he would come in the store like, what you have today? And I'm like, what do you mean what I have today? And he would be like, yo, you gonna make me some stew fish? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I bet. So I think he was testing me. So this man would go to the store and he bought his own fish
Oh
from
wow.
across the street. Yeah, this is how crazy it was, right? And he bought his own fish from across the street, because we had the supermarkets down the block, we had the foods, the Chinaman, they was selling all the vegetables. So everybody was in sync with each other. It was a community, you know what I'm saying? So he would go get the fish from the across the street, bring the fish to me. I would go in the back, and I know I'm not supposed to do that because I have fish in the fridge. Like we had whitening, we had a whole bunch of fish in the freezer, but he wanted a specific fish, and I said, you know what, it is what it is. I said I would buy it and make it, so it is what it is. So he got it. I went in the back, washed it up real quick, came back, gave it to him, and he was like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck? Like, you could really cook." And then from there, I was like, "Wow." So people actually do love me, because
Yeah.
I always
Much
doubted
respect,
myself.
right? It
Right,
gave you like
bro.
that much respect Jamaican thing. Like if you can cook for them and you
Yes.
get their stamp of approval, that's a big deal, right?
Yo, the man was so happy like, he was so dope that he went and told everybody about me, and he was just promoting it. And at the time, I didn't know about social media. I didn't know anything. I was introduced to a he was like a mentor, but he became my consultant, and he trained me and he showed me what you need to do as an entrepreneur, because I had no idea. I went in it because it was just something that I needed. I needed to do this. I wanted to pursue it. So when I went in there and he showed me so many things, I said, all right, so now that I'm Vegan Kings, I'm going to implement the same thing I did in the store for Vegan Kings, which is what? You got to get the social media down. You got to make sure the food look good. You got to make sure what you serving these people is believable, and they feel it. Like when I take a bite, like if you go on my page and you see what I do, I take a bite and I look at the screen. I'm telling you that it's good, because you feel it through my eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I just learned to do that and just make people happy, and built a slogan. And my slogan was, "What's good, family? It's your brother Abdul." You know what I'm saying? And then I just go into it and I become this character, and people fell in love with it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things I never said. At the peak of my success, and I was going in. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a business. I didn't even know what I was doing. COVID hit, and it kind of like it messed me up. It messed me up to the point that I had to like move around. You know what I'm saying? My car was stolen, and when my car was stolen, the insurance company for some reason said that they feel like I was lying. I took the car, I did something to it because at the head we was in the middle of the pandemic, and a lot of people didn't pay their car notes, so a lot of people was like struggling, and they figured that I did the same thing. So I had to get proof that my car note was paid and everything was good. And with all that, they still was like really thinking that I lied. But this is how powerful the universe is, man. Like one day I was home and I was stressed, and the police called me, and they called me and was like, "Hey, we found your car." Come to find out, they had the car. They moved it because they was doing construction. So I called my insurance company and I'm like,
Oh
"Look,
my
here's the
goodness.
proof." Right. So they're like, "Oh, so that was so stressful that it kind of like stopped my business from flowing because I was in one state and then I had to go to another state because I couldn't do what I needed to do."
It's
So,
interesting. We were like really. I was in the chicken business for a while, up and down the East Coast, and distribution of chicken and fried chicken and the marinades
right.
and stuff like that. And I was like, I had a food trailer. We had multiple food trailers, but this one in particular was a food trailer, and we really started getting momentum with this thing. And I felt like, okay, this business is finally going to take off. And someone stole the damn truck in Atlanta that was pulling the trailer. So now I had a trailer and no truck to pull this thing around. And the insurance company would not give us the money back.
Yeah.
It took months of fighting with them to even get a fraction of what they should have given us. And
Oh
it's the
yeah.
one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's like car insurance is great other than when your car is stolen. Because then
Right.
they don't give a shit about you. They're like, yeah, screw
Yeah.
you. If it's not totaled and we don't have evidence and it's gone, you did something with it. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I have a
Right.
business here. I need to run the business with the truck. I can't go buy another truck. I can't go buy another $90,000 truck to pull this trailer, like
Right.
without the insurance money. It's like that's why I paid for insurance. But I hear you so much on this one. Go on. So you go into sort of a hole, and I know what this is. All of a sudden, you're like, you lose your identity almost. Like things are just you lose the business. The COVID happens, the or coronavirus, whatever it's called, and then you have your car stolen, and then finally get it, but it's just after so much work and heartache.
Yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
man. Go on. I just want to tap in. I can feel to you on this one because
Bro,
I know what it's
it's
like to get
crazy.
kicked in the nuts real hard.
Bro, man, literally, like, it was bad because I felt like, and then when they found the car, and I called them because they give you they give you some type of manager that's helping you work on the claim, like a claims manager. So the claim manager, he said to me, he said, "I'm not gonna lie to you. Off the record, they thought you stole the car. They thought that you sold the car to some other, whatever, and they gave you money." And I said to him, "Let me tell you something. I get what you're saying, but I've been with you guys for 10 years. 10 years. I never had an accident. Like my record is clean. Why would you think that?" I thought my loyalty, you know what I noticed now, man? Like, and I don't know if people are noticing it now too, but I don't think loyalty means anything no more to nobody.
Exactly.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, are
Everything's
you
about the
serious?
dollar sign. It's a
It
dollar sign.
is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm like, yo, and it goes back to what I said yesterday. Like, money is the root of all evil. And if you keep seeing money, 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 you're not seeing the truth. And I want somebody to be with me that is loyal to the game, meaning you loyal to your craft. If you on this craft of doing this shit, like do it. Don't be doing it for money, because let me tell you something. If you wake up every day and you do shit for money, you're not gonna get nowhere but loneliness. You're gonna have a big hole in your heart because money can't buy you things that you really need. Happiness, don't that shit. Yeah, you'll be happy. Yeah, you on the beach, you chilling, you got all these cars, you got girls, but are they loyal? When you get sick, will they be there? You gotta think. And so now I'm like, all right, so I gotta ricochet this business and I gotta figure it out. So I'm up here and I met this my business partner. So me and my business partner, we was about to open up a restaurant, in this no in this location where I'm at now. And but while I was doing that, I still was accepting orders. I still was doing private events. I still was going all over the place, and it's hard because COVID hit. A lot of people, they got scared of you. People don't want to order food. People don't want to interact because of the whole like scary thing. Like I went through a phase of not wanting to remove my mask, and then all of a sudden I was like, yo, I'm breathing this air. Like you're crazy. I'm not wearing no mask no more. Like I'm over it. This COVID shit is stupid. Yeah, I probably had it, but nothing happened to me. I'm good. Like it is what it is. It's all propaganda. Like I was just over it, bro. And but that pandemic, I hurt. Like, bro, I lost so much money. I lost so much people, customers. Like it's crazy. I had to learn to rebuild my business to get it what it is now. And it's like I have a lot of customers that's all over the place. I have a person that actually hit me up just now before I spoke to you. They want me to send their food to California. So I'm here sitting like we all, me and my partners, we trying to figure out how to get our food sent out there because I
I can
actually want
help
to
you
do
with
that.
this, dude. I know how to do this. Like this is my thing. Like we're gonna have to talk. This is maybe why we came together. I know how to ship food all over the country. How to get it there. I even have people that are experts in this that did it for me for decades. We did hospital food. We did foods for clients like Gobble and other
What?
companies that I won't talk about because I do still have some. Uh,
Right.
you know, you and I can talk about it offline, but I can't talk about it online
Of
because of
course. Yeah.
NDA non-disclosures. But we
Oh
used to
yeah.
do a lot of this. And Fit Tracks, he's out in Seattle. He does health-based stuff. His name's Mark Riggs. I'll drop him because he will want everyone to know that we did help him and I did help him get his business off the ground and get USDA and everything he needed to do it. But he's been on this podcast, so I can help you do this. And I just want to help you because you've been on the podcast and you've been a good guy. I will help you do this because I enjoy doing it and I want your food to get all over the world. I want your message to get all over the world. And what better way to do it than if people can eat it? So anyway, go ahead. Let's talk about this. So you're getting food and you're delivering it all over the country. I love this.
Yeah, and it's crazy, So what I have a lot of things that's coming, and what I'm trying to do is eventually open up a franchise and have food in a few states, a place where people could go and see that you don't need to eat this, but you could eat this, so people could see who I am and probably do some type of touring, like, all over the states, going to different places, meeting people, cooking, and people could actually come and try my food. Because there's a lot of times people inbox me and they tell me, I would love to have your food. I got people writing me in Taiwan. I got people in China, Singapore. Shout out to all these beautiful countries all over the world. Like we all struggling and we all hear you. We in it together. So I would like to do that because at the end of the day, I want to become this vegan like mogul. You know what I'm saying? Like the man who go and try different foods and mimic it and veganize it and come back and give it to you guys. Because at the end of the day, we all just trying to eat and feed our family. Because food is one of the most important things in your life. Because without it, you can't do anything. Whether you poor or rich, you have to eat, and I want to be able to feed you whether you poor or rich. I want to show you what you could do if you got $10, and I also want to show you what you could do if you got $100. I want to be the person that you come to. And mostly some of my friends, they will come to me and ask me like, yo, what would you do? What would you make? Can you come over? Can I, use you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a personal chef. I could come through. I'm certified and everything. So I come through and I cook for you, I serve you up and do what I need to do and I'm out. I got to do it in Brooklyn this year for this guy. I don't know if you know him. He goes by Sugar Ray. He's an activist in out in Queensboro.
Yeah, he's going to be on my Justin Ryan Bizzarro show podcast also, and you'll see him at the event on Saturday at Belfries. Anyway, just I said that on the audience. So yeah, I know Sugar Ray
Yeah.
well. I eat with him, and we've broken bread a
Yeah.
lot. We've hung out together quite a bit. So when I
Yeah,
first met him,
yeah.
he was in a tent and doing his hunger strike for one of the
Yes.
city buildings. But yes,
Right.
definitely, I love that dude. Anyway, go on, Sugar Ray.
Yeah, so he was actually my first client back in New York because normally I was doing everything out in Jersey, so that was dope. And it's hard because you're like, damn, I got to do all of this, and I got to go over there because I don't have nobody because I have people, but financially right now it's been hard, because everything is just hard
That
because
dude's a catalyst in and of itself. Like he doesn't even realize how the humans of the world could benefit from him. I'm like, dude, you're thinking too small, man. Thinking too small. Gotta think bigger. That's what I tell everyone. But you, I love this because he's your first client. He's your catalyst right there. He changed your trajectory.
yeah, he did. Because I was like, I ain't going to no New York. And then I thought, and then, when he first hit me up, I was like, yo, where you at? He was like, in New York. I was like, ah. Because, it's like out of my perimeter. And my wife looked at me and I said, I don't care. I'm doing it. I said, I'm not doing it because it's about the money. It wasn't about the money. It was about just meeting this man. Like he's a dope brother. Like he's a king, and he's fighting for the people. He's not only fighting for one kind, he's fighting for all kinds. And
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
man, he's dope. And and I got an opportunity to cook for him and his lady, and they both, blasted it on the page, and I appreciated it. But it was dope, and they ordered for me already twice, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I want to be able to do that, but I want to also build a team of people that will help me and take it to the next level. But it's just finance, and how it is, because I see what my food could do, because I could cook any type of food. Whatever you need, I could make it. What I do when I have my off time, I watch different cultures, different foods. I tried it, so I know what it tastes like. And I don't only cook what everybody's doing that's going viral. I go back to the authenticity of it. Like for instance, I was able to create birria tacos, which is a Mexican dish that they do. And I went back to like some videos that came from like the elderly Mexicans. And they would put, it was crazy because I watched so many and I noticed that one of the key ingredients they used was chocolate. They put chocolate in the recipe. And as I watched all of these Instagrammers, these YouTubers, nobody did it. And I'm like, you got to go back to the root. You got to find out, like every dish that I made, like if you go on my YouTube channel, I tell people where it comes from because it's not mine. I'm giving homage to the creator of the dish because I didn't make pizza. I didn't make the beef patty. I didn't make the first curry chicken or oxtails. So I got to go back and read about why did they do it. It's just
Can
like some of these
do you ever
people.
think about like how these people ever discovered this food? I know we create it and we have all this benefit, but you're just like I heard like yogurt or cheese actually came from a guy putting camel milk in a little
Yeah.
thing and it bounced around in the hot desert. Next thing you know, we have cottage cheese, and then which eventually leads to cheese, which eventually leads to yogurts and all sorts of things. Do you ever wonder that? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're like a very intellectual dude. When you're making the food, you're ever like, how did they ever figure out how to put this together?
Yeah, I do.
Because
I
you're
do, and I go back.
deconstructing it and then putting your vegan touch on it. That's what I
Right.
mean. Like the coolest thing about your job is you get to deconstruct the food and like really learn it in its basic form and then rebuild it in a new form. And I think that's really cool. Sorry to interrupt you, but keep going because
No, listen.
I'm just like wow.
No,
Like
feel free to ask
we're
me.
just like you blow me away. And
Thank
speaking
you,
of Sugar
man.
Ray, he should run for mayor of New York. Just saying.
Bro, I said that to him. I said, man, I ain't gonna lie. I know I'm not in your state, but I'll figure it out. Like, we gotta get you in there
That's what
because
I said, and I used to do all
he's
the city of New York hospitals for 18 years, like all
right.
those meals, and for for the city of New York, for the mayor's office. I'm like, dude, I know how to help you out on this one. Let's figure this out. You are the man. You are a person of the people, of all the humans of New York. Doesn't matter where they come from. He's got his head on straight, in a lot of
He
ways.
does. He
Anyway,
does.
go ahead. I'm sorry I went on a tangent, but
Yeah, and you see which, like, he did the same thing that you did. He reached out to me. he reached out to me, bro. And it's like when he reached out to me, like that's like me telling you no, bro. What if I would have told you no? What will that help me accomplish? How am I gonna get vegan kings all over the world without responding to the people that actually took time to write me? You know, like I literally like when you wrote me, I sat there and I read everything and I looked at all the dates and I was sitting here and I was like, oh man, I gotta hit this guy up and I gotta let him know that I'm doing this, you know. And I know you was probably like, oh man, I don't think he's gonna do it because he ain't hit me up. So I was like, yo, I gotta get on this. I've been so busy because I had a lot of orders. Who was buying food. I also want to start meal prep. I want to see what I could do, like as far as
Yeah, I think that's one of your callings, dude, is the meal prep stuff, especially because there's no one really good out there making meals to give to people in their homes or send it in mail or fulfill. Like, there's no good companies out there, no good food. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
right. No, you're good. And yeah, so that's what I want to do too. But in due time it will come, you know. And I also I'm very good at consulting, so I'm like a restaurant consultant. So if a person has a business and they need help like trying to figure out, hey, I'm not making no money, I could show them how they could start making money. Like I could tell them the steps that they need to take to do it because I've been there, you know, and I have that experience and I want to help others because a lot of us out here are struggling. And if you, all you had to do was ask them, like, hey, can you help me with this? And can you do that? And then we will grow. Because you see what you're doing, you're helping me grow, you know? And that's how we're supposed to do it. But a lot of us don't do that.
There's not enough people out there that realize that, you know, part of the growth, you have to give it back in order to keep going. Like once you start giving to other people without wanting something in return and helping growing people and doing it for the right reasons, even if you have to charge money because that does happen sometimes. But if you're really doing it truly to help people, it helps you grow. It helps you grow your business. But if you don't, like I always find, people are like, why am I not growing and why is my business not growing? Are you helping the humans around you? Are you helping other people that were once in your situation so they can get to where you are? Because you can't move forward unless you help humans. Like I just don't. That's our purpose, to help the humans and the animals and the plants on this planet and survive. Like we all have that in common. But when we stop doing that, of course our businesses are stop growing, and our families and our neighborhoods and our communities and our schools, you name it. The minute we start saying, hey, I'm complaining, look at me, I'm complaining. Oh, you lost,
Right.
dude. You
Right.
lost because unless you're actually giving back and you know pay I would call paying forward, you know, you got to go back and help those like you're doing, and you're coming on the podcast. You're helping me. I'm helping you. We're networking, and when we both help each other, that's really paying it forward.
Oh yeah. You know what it is too? Like a lot of us, like we're selfish. We don't want to give. We don't want because we feel like, oh, you're gonna get there before me. It's not about that. Everybody's gonna get where they need to be because it's already written. Your destiny's already written. It's just based upon you. And the thing is that us humans, we don't have patience. We lack patience, and you know, and I'm an example. Like I lack patience. Like I want everything instant gratification. Like I don't care, you know. But I had to learn that it's not like that. But every day, you know, you evolve into a different person, and you start to understand that patience is a virtue. You know, like you got to just wait because I didn't think that I would even be where I'm at today with, you know, Vegan Kings. People actually know who I am. People are calling me. People are asking me, you know, business is growing. And I look forward to it becoming this big thing. And I would like to have like a show, you know, and have people come on a show and real shows because from what I heard, I used to watch Chop and all those shows, and I found out that it was fake. Half of those chefs wasn't even cooking half of the food.
Yep.
It was just for entertainment, and I didn't
Yep.
like that. I
Yeah,
was
me
like,
neither. It's
that. I stopped watching it, man. I was like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. Yeah.
yeah, man. So I want to do that. I want to teach people. I want to show people. So I have so many things that I want to do. But you know, we'll see. You know, one day somebody will step to me and tell me, "Hey, man, you know, I want to be a part of this. What do you need? Let's do it. You know, what's the vision? You know, it's just it's crazy, man. Like I just wish I knew the things that I knew today 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, oh gosh, even like 5 years ago sometimes I'm just like, damn
Right.
it. I just, even 2 years ago at this point, maybe 3 years ago, like there was a period of time where I'm just like, when COVID happened, and I hit the gas hard during COVID. Like that's the thing. When there's economic depression or everyone else is like going for the bomb shelters and scared and living by fear,
Right.
that's the
Right.
time your businesses grow. And especially in food, you see how much distance people made during COVID. And but also the problem is that people lost businesses during COVID, and it
Yeah. A
changed who they
lot.
are. You and I
Yeah.
and other people had a lot of, while I had a lot of growth during COVID, I also had businesses that suffered immensely.
Right.
And it's just crazy because, while my hospital patient meals went up, all the other stuff that was going on in food that we were in, people stopped going to the grocery stores. People stopped eating diversely. People stopped eating fresh food. They're like packing their houses
Yeah.
full of processed food that'll last
Right.
because they thought they were going to run out of food. So, someone out there's got like a pantry full of mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese. And they're just like, because they thought we were going to run out of food. And that person probably might have been a healthy eater at one point, eating whole foods, and it's just crazy to me. And now we're all still somewhat in that zone of like, okay, we got through COVID. We forgot about eating healthy for the most part, even though we needed to build our immune systems to fight COVID. Okay. But they still went to processed foods. And this is where I'm like, this is why I'm like principles over personalities, because the principles, if we all are eating wholly, we're all eating what's made by the earth in its most natural form without using processes, shelf life extenders, processing the crap out of it, which ruins the whole vitamin and minerals we're supposed to get in our bodies anyway. And we don't do those things, or we don't eat properly, and we do the things that are bad for us. It doesn't matter what we're eating. It doesn't matter what it's labeled under a diet if we're not actually eating whole foods,
Right.
and we're not getting it in its form, because it's just crazy to me. Even now with veganism, and there's this huge plant-based craze, but a lot of this
Mhm.
plant-based craze, there's more calories in it than the
Mhm.
alternative, if it were a meat alternative. And there's so many chemicals and processed foods or fake tastes or fake ingredients in them to make them taste a certain way or look a certain way, that it's almost worse for you than what was the alternative in the first place. That's why when I did my research on you and saw what you're doing with the natural basis of food, I'm like, this is a principle. Okay, here's the principle. We're all trying to save the planet. We're all trying to have humans be better off than they are. That means whole foods. I don't care what the diet is, okay? How I eat or my diet is my personality, okay? But my principle is that I'm doing it because it's healthier for humans. I want to live by example. My principle is it's going to heal the earth, regenerate the earth. My principle is I care about the animals and the plants that live on here that God created, And so, whether or not everyone calls it God or not is, again, a personality thing versus a principle. A principle is we're trying to do the right thing for the planet. I threw God
Right.
in there as my
Right.
personality. But,
Oh no, no. Listen, I love God, bro. Like, listen, I'm not. I believe in God,
yeah,
man.
me
To be
too.
honest with you, getting to God is how this food, like, God changed me in a way that He made me understand that the food is better for me, bro. There was times my wife would juice beets. All right, one of my favorite recipes, right, is a whole foods like crazy recipe that people don't even think of. My wife juices the beets, the carrots, and the celery and the ginger, and she takes that and we make that into tuna. You know, and let me tell you something. You get some seaweed, some dulce and all that, some sea moss, and you throw it in there, and it tastes and it smells like fish. And
Because
you make that
what do the fish eat? You know, the,
exactly,
the moss and the seaweed. If they're not eating the crap the humans throw into the ocean, that's garbage for them, or it's garbage for us
exactly.
too, actually. But
Yeah, it's nothing but when I juice and you get in the fresh fruits, the vegetables like in your body, you feel your body telling you thank you. Your blood is telling you thank you. Your heart, your liver, your kidney, everything, your spleen, your whole body. Like when I became vegan, And and now I'm experimenting with so many different foods. I just want to show people that this processed stuff is not good. You could just go to the store and you could use chickpeas. Yesterday I made chickpea burgers using chickpeas only. Chickpeas and some paprika, onion pepper, some burger seasoning. You could get some vegan ones, just be careful of the sodium, and threw it in a pan, man. Bro, man, it was delicious. I'm gonna start showing those type of videos. And something, it was just bad because sometimes I felt like if I didn't throw these crazy soul food videos, people wouldn't care. I got like, I lost like the love of it. And I'm like, if people actually see what I really eat, they would be like, oh, hells no, like, this is crazy. Like, I will get more views if I throw a rib recipe, but if I throw a recipe making, some stewed chicken from um, chickpeas, people wouldn't even look at it. And I'm like, but it's better for you. It's alkaline. It helps the gut because, the food, when it goes into your gut, that's where it starts. It heals you. It tells the body what it needs to do. And I decided that I don't care what people say. I don't care if it don't get views. I'm gonna post it because I want to show people that you don't always have to go by this. You could do that. you
And I
know
I love that you just said this, and I want to anchor this, okay? Because you're right about this. Like, we take vitamins all the time, okay? And I'm just going to give an example of this. Like, vitamins are fine, right? They go into our body, we burn them, they burn. But it's almost like putting diesel fuel in an unleaded car, okay? While it'll burn potentially, actually, and diesel fuel's so flammable, you don't actually need a spark plug. But, okay, it'll do damage to your engine. My point exactly. While it might burn for a while, it's doing damage to your engine. You could put kerosene in your car. It would do damage, okay? It's not unleaded fuel. And so here's my point about it. It's not exactly the right point because all of those things are processed. But diesel fuel is a natural byproduct of processing gasoline, okay? But because our bodies are meant to have food in its whole form, and when we cook it, it gets rid of like a lot of things and gives it flavors. For some reason, fire and water can help food, or sun or wind can change food naturally, okay? But when we go and process it or break it apart and break it down and do weird shit to it and put it in a form that's really going into our body, that's why we pee out 90% of the vitamins, because our body doesn't know what to do with it, to your point. Our body, when we get natural food, there's years upon years upon years upon decades upon millenniums upon frickin' more than that, tens of thousands of years, where our bodies built up the ability to break down these things and maximize what we extract out of them to maximize our lives. But when we don't do that, that's when obesity happens, because we're just eating because while I may be full, I'm still constantly hungry. Why? Because I'm not getting the minerals, the vitamins, and the nutrients in the natural form that my body can utilize. So they're getting in the form the body's like, it's foreign. Well, I'm full. I'm still really starving for those minerals, those vitamins, and those nutrients. So I'm going to eat more. And then we go back to McDonald's, or we go back to Roy Rogers, or we go back to Wendy's for more food. And again, okay, there's not a single vegetable on there. Maybe not even the tomato. Okay, or you can't get the ketchup. And it's like we're not getting the nutrients from natural vegetables and natural fruits in that case. Okay, we might get a little protein from the beef, but we're eating burgers, we're eating fries that are fried. Okay, we might get a little something from the potato. But in general, they're nutritionally bankrupt, regardless of what a nutrient statement says. Because it doesn't matter what happens when we mess food up or we don't diversify our diets, to your point, and let the body do what it needs to do. We're not getting what we need to survive or live a good life or have a functioning brain, okay? Like, really, sometimes people don't even realize this. You want to be a better thinker. You want to be smarter. I love when people say, I'm just not smart. Well, just change your diet. I guarantee your output in your brain will go up 100%, if not more. I know mine's gone up 12,000%. The more I tuned in my lifestyle, I'll call it a lifestyle, not a diet, the more I eat properly, the more I stay with whole foods, the better I am physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's the craziest thing. And when I'm that way, and we talked about God, weirdly I align myself with God way more. I don't even know how it's possible, but just
Me
eating
too.
right, like I have a
Hmm.
better relationship with him and he takes care of my life more. And now I'm prepared for whatever opportunities he has because I'm a warrior. You know, that's one of the things I am, or an athlete, however you want to look at it. And I'm going to capitalize on everything to bring him glory, but I need to feed my body properly in order to do that. And when I don't, he's like, you're probably not prepared. Yeah, you're not going to be able to fight for me in the long run. And I'm not talking about physically fighting. I'm talking about the long haul mental toughness, physical toughness, spiritual toughness that we have to gain as humans in order to achieve excellence in our lives, you know, and success. So I went on a tangent there, but you got me all pumped up on
No,
this.
no, nah. Listen, bro. Like honestly, like I love stuff like this. It's hard to find people on this level. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't been able to have a good conversation for years. Like all I do is talk to my wife. Because when you talk like this to people, they look at you like, oh, okay, what the hell's wrong with this dude?
I
Like,
know.
you
I
know,
know.
this is how this is how we built. Your viewers are gonna love this. This podcast, like because we relate into the people. That's one thing we need to understand, that if you're not relatable, nobody cares. You speaking straight facts. Like I actually was happy, and waited like, yo, I can't wait to get on this thing. Like I can't wait to talk to him because I want to see what he says. Because you teaching me a lot, man, and you showing me that this whole time I didn't have it wrong. I had it right. Because
Absolutely.
I thought something was wrong with me. Because like I noticed that a lot of people are just like trying to follow a trend, and they trying to do what everything everybody else is doing. Why can't you be original? Why can't you be your own person? Why you gotta follow what that person's doing?
Exactly.
So
And even
that's
the
the
vegan trend, that's why one of the reasons I want to have you on is because you just have to be careful. Like processed foods, while it's vegan, technically, by the definition, the marketing definition, let's just talk about that. We're not talking about the scientific definition. The scientific definition of vegan is eating fruits and vegetables and plants, okay? It's not eating processed plants and fruits and vegetables, okay? And we can make it mean that if we want to as humans, but it's a little bit like milk only comes from mammals. So the almond milk is not really milk, okay? So we used a marketing term to redefine a scientific term. Could it be something else? Could it be milk like almond, but the milk companies didn't fight it, and it would be hard just for the cow companies to fight it because all mammals produce milk. So milk is technically from a mammal, but almond milk, soy milk, whatever, cashew milk, all that stuff, it's not milk. It's just they were allowed to use it from a marketing term. And that's what I
oh
want to be
yeah,
careful about vegan. Vegan's been
right,
around way before the industrial age. You can
oh
even
yeah,
there's even references to it in the Bible. And Jesus even has a thing with it himself. And what I want to say to everyone is there was no processed food there. So when we use the term plant-based, it's a way of skewing vegan. It's skewing us. It's skewing us into believing that processed food's okay with you. It's like the word organic. Well, organic just means that we do it without pesticides and chemicals, or we use natural things, okay? So why do we put such emphasis on the word organic when technically things were always organic before we ever had the Industrial Revolution? We started spraying pesticides and everywhere. That doesn't mean we didn't mix plants together. We didn't, grow bigger cows or whatever for whatever. That you do that naturally. God allowed nature to do that for us. It's when we manipulate it outside of nature, outside of nature's laws. Okay,
I,
and
I mean, it's what it is. The world is intrigued with big. Everybody now, and I don't mean to bring this up, but I see everybody
yep,
lips is getting big. Their butt, like I'm not trying to be funny, but we intrigued with big, and they and if you go to the supermarket, right, and you see the ginger, I'm using that as an example because that's something that you could clearly see when you go to the supermarket. You got the organic ginger, which look like tiny little creatures that just grew out the ground, and they look helpless. And then you go to the regular one, and they're massive, big. They look like they got steroids. So what you think people are gonna take? They're gonna take the big steroid looking one. Meanwhile, the organic one was way better because if you knew what they did to get that one, you probably wouldn't even want it because over time, it's just gonna mess you up, you know. But we tend to do it because they use it. They use that against us. I mean, it's not even that they use it against us. You had a farm, so you know it's like having a farm and doing everything organically is so expensive. They make everything so expensive, and I'm like, why is it like come on, like food shouldn't be so expensive. Food should be actually free if you really want to be technical. But you know, everybody's trying to capitalize, and that's where it get messed up. That in order for you to eat the sustainable food that you need, you gotta have money. You know, there's a lot of people that I grew up around. They didn't have the money, so they was buying all types of things. And sometimes, like I'm gonna be honest with you, even the food that I make, I don't really like doing it, but I make it because I want people to see that it could be done a more healthier way. Is it 100% more healthier? No, it isn't. Because if you want me to make you mac and cheese, I'm not going to give you just mac and cheese. I'm going to actually give you mac and cheese. It's going to taste the same way it was when you ate it when it wasn't vegan. But to do that, I got to put the stupid processed cheese. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
people's not gonna buy
Yeah.
the one without it
I
because they're
know.
gonna be like, "This tastes like shit, man. What the fuck is this?"
I know.
Like, and I feel bad, but you know, we're so accustomed to tradition. Oh, this is how I used to eat it, and they're not gonna buy it. You know, I have people come like and throw food at me. Like, I mean, I never had that because I always made it, you know, real good. But I seen it because I went to places and the food wasn't good. And it wasn't that it wasn't good. It was just that they use natural things. I use it too. If you don't want to use the processed cheese, you don't gotta use that. Just get you some nutritional yeast, some carrots, some cashews, some sweet potatoes, blend that joint up, you know what I'm saying? And right there you made a nice little creamy cheese. And throw some macaroni in there. You could use some chickpea macaroni or gluten free or whatever. And you mix that in, and there you got a nice little mac and cheese, and you flavor it, put your onions, your whatever seasoning you put, and it's there. But nobody's gonna eat that. They're like, oh, that's not good mac and cheese. It don't got no soul.
Yeah.
But the one that don't have soul is the one that's better for you.
I know. It's almost like it's the problem is we use the term cheese, and again that's an animal
And it's
byproduct,
not cheese.
and so like there's like I cashews make good cheese a lot of the time. I don't know what you use, but it's like I've had some good. I don't. You can't call it anything else. But the problem is our brain thinks of it as cheese. Our brain thinks of
Right.
it as milk. So you have to
Right.
use it as a marketing term, even though scientifically it's incorrect. And it's like we're taking a fact and we're putting an opinion on it, and now the opinion becomes a fact, even though it's not true. Nature makes it not true. There's no way that it's true, and but we have to do it anyway because the human mind can't wrap its head around mac and cashew paste. You know, right? That's what it would be if it were cashew cheese, right?
Right, with oat milk.
Yeah, with oat milk.
With oats and water.
With oat water.
Oats.
Yeah,
Water
yeah,
oats.
yeah. You know, so we have to
Yeah.
do it because the human mind can't possibly comprehend it because we've been conditioned this way. The constructs
Yeah.
in our mind that we're given make it very hard for us to enter into a vegan space without actually saying, okay, if I'm going to be vegan, I need to rethink the way the food is and not want like a vegan burger. You know, I could have a vegan patty sandwich or something. You know, it's just like, but we need the attachment to a word that is familiar to us that matches the constructs we've created in our mind or society has created in our minds, you know, because they don't really exist. Scientifically, you could a beef is beef is beef. If it's a beef burger or a bison burger, you could literally say a vegan burger. That makes sense. Okay, but vegan milk is like, whoa, that's what? Huh? That's like that's an oxymoron. You know, it's like, whoa, what happened there? But because our constructs in our mind, we want to replace milk with a vegan alternative or a vegetable alternative, we then call it milk because we want to exchange it in our minds. We already have the constructs of how milk fits into our cereal. Milk fits into our world. So then we need the construct of milk and calling it milk to fill that construct. And so that's one of the things that I like what you said. It's just the way that people become vegan or get used to vegan food is it's got to be familiar to them. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
here's plant-based meatloaf, here's, a vegan burger, and that's why it's kind of funny that we talk about this because we're in this plant-based craze, but chickpeas and black beans have been used for burger alternatives
Oh
and
yeah,
burger
for years.
patties before even hamburgers were around. Okay,
Right.
they weren't called burgers; they were just called patties or whatever the Native Americans made them. Quinoa, made
Mm-hmm.
into patties back in the day, all galore, fried up any which way possible. Throw it in with the plantains, But because we've now got used to burgers and beef and chicken burgers and turkey burgers and bison burgers and elk burgers, we have to have vegan burgers, and it's just like okay while the term works in this case because burger doesn't necessarily mean meat, but we've had to add the construct in order for us to get it. It's like we got to inch our way versus being like, okay, Abdul, give me the best vegan dish you have, and if you really thought about it and you weren't trying to please me, you would make the best vegan dish possible, not necessarily try to replace something else for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that brings me to this question for you. What are your favorite vegan dishes to cook and eat yourself? Like, just lay it on me, like the hard truth.
Honestly, I have to say one of my favorite dishes is stewed chicken, which I use Brussels sprouts or I'll use mushrooms. Probably one of my favorites. And favorite rice of choice would be black rice, but the price went up significantly. Or if you don't eat rice, I love like some, like plantains or boiled or like or some fried cabbage. You get some cabbage and you fry it and just, I eat so simple. It's not funny. Like for breakfast every single day, I'm gonna tell you what I've been eating for the past 2 years. I'll have, a smoothie. If I don't have a smoothie, I'll just I have my tea. I drink water first thing in the morning. I drink water, and after I drink like a good 2-3 cups of water, then I'll drink my tea. And my tea, I always have my sea moss. I love green tea. If sometimes I'll use green tea or I'll use soursop. Um, and ashwagandha. I always put black pepper in there because black pepper helps with everything. It activates everything. It's good for like activating in the turmeric, the curcumin. It's good for ashwagandha. It actually helps stick to the cells. And every day I eat spinach. I eat spinach every single day. And I know I read studies that if you do that, it's not good for you. But I'm so addicted to spinach. And if it's not spinach, it's kale. I love kale. I love collard greens raw, not even cooked. The spinach, I do actually eat the cooked one because for some weird reason, like it's not good to do it like that because it takes away some of your calcium.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't do that. So I do it cooked. Cooked spinach every single day with eggs. Sometimes I'll have pumpkin eggs, or I'll get some pumpkin seeds and create that into eggs. I used to use the black salt. I don't use that anymore because as you evolve and you learn these foods, you notice the things that it do to your body. And I'll have either with it uh, a McMuff, like you got those vegan English muffins. Sometimes I'll have it. If we don't, I have tater tots, and that's it. And a banana or some grapefruit. I love grapefruit. I try to have it like every day. I'm actually gonna eat some when I finish with you, and then that's it.
Love it. I love
Yeah,
grapefruit too,
yeah.
man. It's like
I
my
work
number one
out.
go to now.
Yeah, it's really good for you. It's good for absorption and stuff. So, and then I work out. I do my little things in the mornings. Like, it helps. It helps with waking up the body, making the body feel good. Because if I don't move, like I feel like everything is just messed up. Because I have a busy day. Sometimes I'm sitting down a lot because I'm running a business. I'm editing. I'm writing. I'm taking down information. I'm doing orders. So it's so many things that I have to do in a day, and it's hard because I'm running this whole big thing, and just waiting for that big day for me to financially be able to just hire people to do this, to do that. Because Vegan Kings is like everything, like to me, and I'm getting there. I'm reaching where I need to reach, and I'm just so happy about it that I'm doing it organically. Um, and now I understand what impact I'm having on people. Because I really like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like at one point, I was like, damn, nobody likes me because I don't eat processed foods. Everybody wants this processed crap, and I'm not cooking that stuff. I rather cook whole foods. I wrote an entire book on how to make your own mock meat using, you know, um, vegetables, mushrooms, pea protein, and just putting everything together and making it into a steak and making you oxtails, making everything, And I just want to show people that there's a different option. You don't have to always get this stuff because I got sick eating that stuff, the processed foods. It made me sick. Like I was, my stomach was messed up. I was I don't even have certain chronic ailments, and I was getting ailments. I was getting headaches, migraines, all types of stuff. And then I realized that the food was killing me, man. Like it's better to just eat whole food. So I just let it go. Everybody has a journey. And sometimes when you go on this journey, you don't know where you're going to end up. And I'm just happy that I'm still rocking with the food. And one of my favorite things, though, bro, I'm not going to lie to you, is green. Like everything green, I love. Like I love kale. I love arugula. Like those are my top. And I love dandelion. Like, the ones
I
that
agree
grows
with
in the
you.
back.
I love green stuff, except lima beans. I hate those things. I don't know what it is about them.
Bro, yeah, I don't really like it.
I
I don't
don't
know
know what
why.
they're just like. I stay like for
Yeah,
some reason that I feel like my body's like stay away from those little suckers. So like they just like
right.
I don't know what it is, but I agree with you. Greens are one of the best things for you always as
Yeah,
humans
I love it.
as needing a diet the way that we do.
Hmm.
We need to eat lots of greens. There's a lot of energy, good
Hmm.
vitamins, good minerals, good nutrients in green things. I
And it
love
helps
this.
with
People,
inflammation,
yeah,
the
absolutely.
dandelion and all that. So like if people ask me, like, those are my favorites. Like if you see my plate, it's like all vegetables. I love kalalu. I don't know if you know kalalu. It's like a Jamaican,
Yep,
like people make
love
kalalu
it.
with some aki and all that. So what I would do is I would make the kalalu with some jackfruit or some hearts of palm and make that into like a nice little dish. Put some kelp in there, some kelp or some seaweed seasoning, and I'm good. And people say, but where do you get your protein from? There's protein in everything that you eat. It's just about what you eat. And I always eat avocado. Avocado is always in my dish. And chickpeas have a lot of protein.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
and then all you gotta do is toss some pumpkin seeds in your mouth, some walnuts, some almonds, some dates. I love dates. Those are my snacks, my little go-to. Yesterday my sister ordered some ice cream, and I was like, come on. But the truck had vegan ice cream, so they made the ice cream from coconut-based milk. They made it into like
Yeah.
milk with some almonds, and I was like, all right, with some real cocoa. I was like, I'll try. It was really good, but I'm not into that. I don't like ice cream. Like, I'm not the type of person that you'll see go to the supermarket and buy ice cream because I feel like it has too much calories and it's just too much for you. Like like my type of like having fun is just like I'll probably say, all right, yo, today I'll make fried chicken, but I'm not the type of person to just sit there and cook fried chicken for my family. Like, we don't even eat that stuff, honestly. Like, I don't even mean to be mean, but we eat those things on occasions. Like, oh, it's Memorial Day, yo, we're about to fry some chicken. Go get some banana blossoms. We go in the backyard and we fry that up, or some hen of the woods, some mushrooms because I love mushrooms. Like, to me, mushrooms are so nutritious and it's delicious and it's versatile. You can make it taste like anything as long as you season it right and you use the herbs, fresh herbs. And but I'm a big like whole foods plant eater. Like, like I said, I did the processed stuff. It's not good for you. It made me sick. And that's what I'm just trying to show the world. But it's hard because I feel like nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to eat that. And then it got to the point like it was stressing me out. But then all of a sudden I noticed that I was growing and growing and growing. And everybody was like inboxing me like, you're actually the third interview that I had. So like two other people hit me up and was like, yo, we want to know, about your food, and we're interested because you eating plant based and you eating whole foods. And I'm like, for real? So it kind of felt good because I really thought I was nothing in the community. I felt like nobody cared about Vegan Kings and what he stands for and what he's bringing to the world. So it feels so good that brought me on the show and you just more intrigued with what that is, what the business is, and it feels good. I really do. Like and Sugar Ray, he never had banana blossom before. So he actually called me. He was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. This tastes like chicken. I don't know what you did." I don't know if he.
Yeah. Because that dude doesn't eat like a lot. He goes on these like hunger strikes and stuff, and then goes on these like God, what is it called when you don't eat? I want to say starve yourself.
Fast.
The fast.
Yeah.
He fasts a lot, and I'm like, oh man, like that's just not something I've ever been able to do. Like my body needs food. I eat 5 meals a day, like whole foods. Like I'm not a snacker. I just like I used to be quite a bit, but now I really eat like 5 whole meals a day and like keep my metabolism going and keep my body going, and like I'm probably in the best shape of my life, honestly, at this point. And I do 75 hard, which means I work out twice a day and I drink tons of water. But it's but I agree with you. Like I have found that banana blossoms are one of the greatest things for meat alternatives. I agree with you, or fish alternatives even. I think that people use it for that as well.
Yeah, you know what else is good too? Soursop. You got to get the soursop, and just when it gets not too ripe, but right there, you could actually substitute that for. I'm gonna try to do that as well on the show, and papaya. So you just got to know where to catch it, because papaya will be a good alternative for salmon. Yeah.
Down right now. I'm just writing down some of this stuff because I'm like, I got to try some of this stuff because
it's really good, man. Kelp is I'm not gonna lie. Like one day, I remember when I made the salmon, I almost threw up because it smelled and tasted like I thought it was salmon. Like I was bugging out. Like, oh man, what the hell? I'm like, what did I put in this blunt? Because this tastes too close. It was creepy. But if you catch a papaya, like in the middle of it, like becoming ripe, is just enough to like do it. You just gotta like cook it down, throw it in the air fryer, and you'll see what it does. Like, and it's better to like marinate it overnight for like, I would say marinate it for like maybe 3 days in the fridge, and some seasoning and some, some water. Just let it sit in there. And then it's so good.
I'm gonna have to have you on a part 3, man. I'm like, we're gonna have to talk more about this stuff, and it won't be this week, obviously, because we're almost out of this week. But I'm gonna reach out to you and try to get you on another show, and I'll be seeing you this weekend. As we're recording this podcast, this won't release for a while after this, but so everyone knows, one of the things that we are doing on this podcast is doing these networking events to get the food entrepreneurs who are on the show and entrepreneurs and heavy hitters in the communities. We talked about Sugar Ray a little bit, gathering with these food entrepreneurs, gathering with the people that are actually making a difference in the community and creating jobs and having dreams big enough to fit everyone else's dream in them, because that is being a food entrepreneur. The minute you go into food entrepreneur and you start doing a business and you start hiring employees or team members or whatever you want to call them, you're starting to have a dream big enough to fit other people's dreams in them. That's how they put their kids through school. That's their dream. They have money on the table to pay their bills. They have money to buy food. They have money to support their children or their wives or their husbands or whatever it is, grandparents. You name it, that's their dreams. And when you're a food entrepreneur and you build businesses, your dreams are big enough to fit other people's dreams in them. So why not think really, really big and really, really huge and fit a lot of dreams in there? And that's what one of the reasons I do this podcast is because I want to instill that in people. The Magic of Thinking Big is a great book. The reason it's a great book is because it gets us out of the own constructs of our own mind that limit us, whether it's our parents or our parents' parents or generational crap that got unloaded on us or unfairness. It's just a construct in our mind. We can overcome it in our own minds by going out there and realizing we can have dreams, and we can have those dreams, and we can fulfill those dreams, and we can have the things that we want in life where those dreams become reality, and then we got to create new ones that are even bigger. But we can do it.
Yeah, you
So I think
can.
that's one of the things that is so important with this episode and with talking to you is these dreams that you have, they're big, but they're only going to get bigger because you are going to achieve them because you're starting to surround yourself with these individuals. And again, I'm trying to facilitate that by doing these events. They're free. I don't do them for anything else. And because I want people to connect, because I truly believe that the more food entrepreneurs that come together in the world, the better off food's going to be, the better off humanity's going to be, since all humans have to eat. So,
Right.
and there's more of us than any other sect in the world. Like, there's more food entrepreneurs than any other profession. How
Yeah, that's
crazy is
true.
that? It's
Right.
crazy.
It's a
There's more
multi-billion dollar, like, trillion business.
Yeah, there's more food entrepreneurs than all of the Google employees or all the companies. Like, you name a company that has 10,000 employees, you're like, damn, they have a lot of employees. No, still more food entrepreneurs in the world. Still more. Name a country that has a population of like 5 million people, like, or the Netherlands. They're small countries. There's more food entrepreneurs than there are Dutch people. Period. Even Danish people. Put them both
Yeah.
together. More food entrepreneurs than both those countries have inhabitants.
Food is culture, man. Food is life.
Yeah.
It's everybody want to know about it, and that's why I love it. Like that, that's why I'm so happy. Look, the experience of not having, when I wasn't vegan, I'm happy that I have that experience because I was able to actually try some of these foods. So now, now that's why I'm using my palate. I'm using my palate to mimic it, to recreate it, and I love it. I love culture. I love different foods. I was able to recreate some Indian dishes, the butter chicken, the tikka masala, all of that, and I'm like, wow. And their food, a lot of their food is basically vegetarian, So it's incredible what you could do with flavor, with vegetables, and it's powerful, man.
Thank you, seriously, Abdul, for coming on the show again. I'm dead serious about having you on here as a regular to talk about the vegan game as an expert. I'm going to call you an expert because, in my opinion, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing vegan food and vegetarian food in hospitals for over 25 years, almost 26 years. And when I was on the farm and I did vegetable stands and that, I had a lot of people that were vegan, and I started doing a lot of research on that. And when I was over in Europe playing soccer in my teens, there were athletes that were vegan. I've learned a lot about this. But your knowledge and your ability to break it down, I'm going to call you an expert, not because I want it to go to your head, but mostly because I want you to understand that I want you to believe in yourself, number one, and I want everyone in the audience to understand that here's a person who has a well-rounded perspective, okay? An expert should have exposure, experience, and education, okay? That is what we're talking about here. He's a leader in this game. I'm going to say it, and if anyone thinks they're wrong, they can come after me. So I can take it, I promise. But this is the guy that we need to talk to, and we're going to bring him back on because just like all the good shows out there, you need someone to balance everyone out. And I also want to follow your business and your growth and who you are. And obviously, I want to help you with meal prep. And I want to help you get food into the masses and fulfillment all over the country, if not the world, and figure out how to get you around the world so you can experience other things. I also think you're the right person to be a guest host here and there. So I try to get this TV show off the ground that we're developing, Foodtopia, because it'd be really cool to integrate in some of this vegan stuff into the TV show and we have options for a third co-host as we do episodes. So it'd be fun to bring you on as that person and do that and have that experience because I need the expertise and you have it.
Wow,
So,
bro, you just took my bro. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? What?
yeah,
Yo, bro, I'm down, man. Like, I'm down. I'm just so happy that somebody shows me like they're believing in me. You know what I'm saying? Like people tell me, but it's sometimes it gets hard. It gets hard that you're trying so hard and people don't even see it.
yeah, I agree
You
with you.
know? Yeah.
So,
Oh,
thank
and
you.
one thing I wanted to tell you,
Yeah, go ahead.
the hospitals are struggling. I was in a hospital for 2 weeks, and I was in there as a vegan, so I had to alter my whole like meal. And the hospital was so nice about it. I told them like everything was vegan, so they made a menu for me. But they was like, "Yo, we don't have nobody here. Would you like a job to come And at the time, I was like, I'm so busy with Vegan Kings, I couldn't do it. I said, I'll see. But they really needed the help because there's a lot of times people don't know that, oh man, I'm plant based. How am I going to go to the hospital? And people get scared. And I'm like, you don't have to be scared. There's always an alternative in the hospital. There's a lot of vegetables. You don't always, because they'll have the burgers made out of the beans and stuff. You just got to ask them, do it have eggs? Because they come packaged and processed, of course. But when I was there, I ate a lot of broccoli, fresh vegetables too. I ate spinach more on breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I was in the hospital. So they really took care of me.
I'll just comment on this. I will say this: the solution in the hospitals right now in New York City is very much like a Sodexo model of processed foods that just to throw out, and they try to do these vegan or fish Fridays type things, and then vegan Mondays, and try to do vegetable alternatives. But it's so processed that it's almost worse than the hospital food they were getting in the first place. So I agree with you, particularly in New York City, particularly in most hospital systems. I would say Kaiser was going down the right path, Kaiser Permanente out in California, since we used to do that. But they went into processed food again. They went with a different customer. You go with a Sodexo or these big companies, they care about rebates. And rebates come from being able to produce food really, really efficiency, which means processing the crap out of it so it has longer shelf life and doesn't go bad, versus doing the right thing and making the food from scratch. Just saying. And I know everyone can market it and they can tell me how they market it and whatever, but I can tell you, go to the hospital and see what you think. Ask for a hospital menu when you go to a hospital. Walk into a random hospital, they will give you a hospital menu. Look at it, because I agree with you. Like, are we actually helping these people and these humans? Or are we just, they may get better, but what we've done to their body with the food that we're feeding them isn't really better coming out of the hospital. They should go in the hospital and have a model what it is to eat, what it is to have a healthy lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. But we don't do that. It's just, I don't even want to get into it, even with the diets. And I agree, some of it's healthy. And Kaiser does the best out of all of them. I've seen they do a really good job in the Mayo Clinic. From what I saw a long time ago, I don't know anymore. But they do try to do the best that they can and give whole foods. It's just there's shortcuts, there's rebates, there's these contractors that come in and make a lot of big promises, and they overpromise this healthy food and underdeliver every time, especially for vegans, especially for vegetarians. Yeah. So thank you very much, Abdul, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. Will you tell everyone where they can find you online?
Yeah, I'm on all platforms, guys. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Just message me. You can send me an email if you want to talk. vegankings@gmail.com. Remember, the Vegan Kings has the 2 Z's in the end, so always remember that. And pretty much Google me. I'm out there. So if you guys want to, talk, Instagram also is another fast way to talk to me. Just inbox me and we can see what we could do. And if you want to order some food, you could definitely hit me up.
Man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys, everyone, for listening in. I appreciate you guys. You can find us again on Instagram at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs. You can find me personally at Justin Bizzarro on Instagram or Facebook. That's BIZZARRO. You can find us on Spotify or wherever else you grow yourself through podcasts. And lastly, you can also find me on the Justin Ryan Bizzarro Show. You can find me on the Centurion Leadership Battalion with Justin Bizzarro, and you can find me at the Night Dasher, DASHOR, with Justin Bizzarro also. And you'll soon be finding us, and you should follow us on Foodtopia TV on Instagram, because you'll start seeing us prepare for that and the TV show we have in development, and that we're trying to launch, which is a world show based on food entrepreneurs all the way from the farm to the restaurants to the consumers, and how all of that works around the world. Okay, we're taking this idea and we're doing it around the world, and we have musicians and other types of entrepreneurs joining the journey. But this is a really cool thing. Everyone should go there and like it. If you like food and you like this show and you want to see it and you want to do it in a world basis like it's never been done before, we're going to bring it to your living rooms. We're going to bring it to your phones. We're going to bring it to the forefront so everyone gets more education that I talked about, experience, and exposure through food to the world. So that's Foodtopia. Eat, love, learn. I hope everyone tunes in. I'm very excited about it. Like I said, I'm going to get Abdul on there as our vegan expert and the guy who comes around with us to do some of that. That'd be really cool. I think you're the right guy for the job. And with that being said, Thank you, everyone, for listening in. I love you guys, and we're out.
Peace.